Setz mich auf die Seite.
Ja, also war halt nicht so, wow,
Good evening, welcome to the English Drama Group in its 33rd year and its 39th production, which is called Now Hear This. That's not the name of the play, that's the name we gave a collection of scenes by Michael Frayn, who's incredibly famous in the country formerly known as Great Britain, part of the EU. He wrote them and published them in a book called Matchbox Theatre. It's quite funny, quite challenging for the actors and the audience, but you like a challenge, don't you? Right. I hope you like a challenge. It's scenes about communication failure and problems. So you might recognize your neighbor, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, yourself in some of the scenes, because that's very well observed. Other scenes are just plain weird, so alcohol does help. Unfortunately, you're not allowed to drink alcohol in here, I'm very sorry about that, but there's an interval. It's 10 scenes in Act 1, then there's an interval and 10 scenes in Act 2. Over to the safety regulations. Alex, please. Thank you.
So this is the message I'm trying to get across to everyone in the audience here tonight. Technology is vital to us. Communications are our lifeblood. We must have the know-how to take full advantage of them. Let us ensure that we never become slaves of our machines, that we remain captains of our computers, lords of our laptops, masters of our mobiles. And at once, of course, someone's phone is ringing. Thank you, actually, whoever the culprit is, for such a graphic and well-timed demonstration of the very dangers I'm warning against. If we don't know how to control them, our gadgets will take over our lives. Our wonderful new devices for communicating with each other will make communication impossible. Just as this rogue mobile now is. Anyway, I think the point has now been made. We've all had our laugh. We've all learned our lessons, so if you could now be kind enough to switch it off. No need to be embarrassed about turning up. It's very easy to do. We've all done it. I'm waiting. You must know whether it's your phone or not. No? Alright. Will everyone please check his or her phone? Actually, check your phones, please. I'm not seeing anyone checking phones. Check your phones. Actually, take it out of your handbag or your pocket, like this. It was mine. I'm sorry. How embarrassing. But it makes my point even more tellingly. I've not only managed to bring an important speech to a halt, I've also managed to make a fool of an otherwise perfectly competent politician. If only I had been trained in the theory and practice of mobile phone use in school. Anyway, turning it off. So, where was I? My wife, in case you were wondering. If only she had been trained. Because I told her I was speaking this evening, told her over the breakfast table, not over the phone. Communication between husband and wife are notoriously fallible, even face-to-face, without any electronics being involved. Unless this is something desperately urgent. Never mind, on we go. So yes, masters of our mobiles, empress of our emails, though if it's that urgent. I'm sorry, will you excuse me just for a moment? Just to be sure. Just won't take a second. Very difficult to speak coherently once you start worrying about it. Darling, yes, it's me, but this is a bad moment. I'm in the middle of a speech. I'm standing in front of an audience at this very moment. So if it's not anything too desperate, then maybe I could call you back. The washing machine? You did what? No! I told you to get a plumber! Anyway, if you've turned off the mains, I don't see how... You haven't turned off the mains? Now I... Oh my God! Open the garden door, let it door. You've opened the living room door. Why? Yes, never mind. Why? What's floating? My tax returns? But it took me all the weekend to... Yes, but there's obviously nothing I can do. I'm not there. I'm here. I'm in the middle of a... Presumably you've rung the plumber by now, so if you could just keep your finger over the end of the pipe. You've got this number. Of course you do. It's on the list headed emergencies. Just fetch the list. No, don't take your finger off the pipe. You're right, there's no need to shout. I'm just looking it up. Hang on. Sorry, I just have to find the number of the plumber. Sorry. Although apparently you all find all this rather entertaining. Probably more entertaining than the speech itself. I don't, really. You can't keep everyone happy. Still there? It's 0903 266 1781. Alright? I call you as soon as... Who keeps ringing? Which newspaper? Well, if he rings again, tell him that it's completely false. And if they print it, I'm going to sue him personally for every penny. Yeah, right. Just give him a mobile number. I will tell him not to call me now. And of course, he's rung off. This is a good example of what a politician's life is actually like. One long series of emergencies and ambushes. Is it a wonder that we can never get anything done? You know, I suppose this reporter fellow is going to call any moment. Well, let him, because this time, look, I'm remembering to turn the sound off. Or did I turn it off before? Perhaps this is turning it... I'm turning it back off. Off, yes. This is exactly what I mean about technology, incidentally. If we could... It would be anywhere to start if we could just be absolutely sure about how to turn things on and off again, and just... Okay. So that's on. It's at least one thing I've learned today. Hello? Yes, it is me, but no, this is not a good moment. You have to call me back later. Let me make one thing absolutely clear here and now. I have never even heard of this woman. And in any case, she's a notorious liar, a past mistress of deceit, and that is all I have to say on the subject. All right? So, and now I know how to turn the sound off. So, I'm putting it back into my pocket, and if it wants to vibrate there silently to itself, let it. It won't disturb us. So yes, Empress of... I'm sorry, it's started, you probably can't hear it, but it started vibrating again, and it's touching my left nipple, which is curiously sensitive. I realized it's impossible to stand still. It's impossible to think of anything else. Unless I'm having a heart attack. No heart attack. It's just the phone. I put it into my trouser pocket instead. Lords of our... Not a good place to put a vibrating device. This is even more embarrassing. Alright. I know how to turn off the sound, but I don't know how to stop it from vibrating. Apart from by answering it, of course. I'm sorry. Now listen, you, I won't be persecuted in this way. If you call me again, I'll make a formal complaint to... My mistress? Who told you she was my mistress? I told you she was my mistress? I said she was a past mistress. Not of mine, of deceit. What do you mean of deceit as well? Oh, deceit. Not Jean-Pierre deceit. He's my oldest friend. Wait a second. You're breaking up. I have to take this call outside. You lot just phone quietly amongst yourself, will you? Hang on there. I'm on the river. Just hang on there.
Hello?
Hi, it's me. I've been trying to phone you. I was getting worried.
Why? What happened?
Nothing's happened, but it kept saying engaged.
Yes, because I was trying to phone you.
You are trying to phone me? Why? What's happened?
Nothing's happened. Just tried to phone you, that's all.
To tell me that nothing's happened?
No, to find out why you were trying to phone me. I was getting worried, you know. I thought something might be the matter.
I was just worried that there might be something wrong with your phone.
That's what you were calling me for. Because you were worried there might be something wrong with my phone.
Yes, because if there was something wrong with your phone and something had happened, I shouldn't have known and I should have been worried.
You should have been worried if something had happened and you hadn't known.
Of course I should have been.
How could you have been worried if something had happened and you hadn't known?
Because I wouldn't have known I hadn't known.
Exactly!
That's what I'm saying.
Anyway, nothing had happened.
No, as it happens. Well, as long as you're alright.
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you.
So where are you?
Oh no!
What? What's happened?
Nothing's happened! It's just that we seem to be turning to one of those couples who keep phoning each other and going, "Where are you? Oh, I'm at Paolo's, where are you?"
You're at Paolo's?
That's not what I'm saying! What
You're
I'm
not at-
saying...
You're not at Paolo's.
What I'm saying is that I don't want to start saying I'm at Paolo's.
So are you at Paolo's or aren't you?
Well, I am as it happens. Why? Where are you?
At Paolo's?
You're at Paolo's?
Oh, I can see you. I'm looking straight at you. I'm waving. Can you see me?
Of course I can see you.
I'm walking towards you. I'm almost there. I'm right in front of you. I'll say bye-bye then.
What do we want?
Just a pot of tea, don't you think, darling? And perhaps some toast?
When do we want it?
As soon as you can catch the waitress aside, you must be dying for a cup after your great demo thing.
What do we want?
I said tea, yes? And a few slices of toast if you're happy with that.
When do we want it?
Didn't you hear what I just said?
What do we want?
Darling, these demos of yours, you don't think you're perhaps overdoing it a bit?
When do we want it?
Because I think they may be beginning to affect your short-term memory.
What do we want?
I said tea. Tea and toast. Yes? All right? Agreed. Have we got that straight? And if we have, then perhaps also to move the conversation on a little.
When do we want it?
Before I scream.
What do we want?
What I should rather like, darling, even if you're going to say the same thing 12 times over, is a ban on shouting it. Everyone's staring.
Down with the man!
Down with the... Oh, good. Wonderful. A new departure. Well done. I think on mature consideration, what I would argue in reply is, up with the ban.
Down with the up!
Oh, a real conversation. This is very exciting. So, up with the down.
We won't be gagged!
Out with the shout.
Out with the out!
In with the out.
Out with the in!
Stop the rot. Strain the brain. Fight for longer and more grammatically complicated slogans containing words of more than one syllable, including qualifications if necessary or dependent clauses where they help make the meaning clearer.
Hands
So, what I'm proposing to attempt in this talk is, if you like, an investigation into why anyone who makes any sort of, if you like, a comment on anything these days has to stress so many of the words as if they were in a foreign language and then put "if you like" in front of them. I suspect that it's intended to suggest some kind of...
Hold on a moment, if I like.
Some kind of, if you like, a flexibility and open-mindedness. Some kind of, if you like, interactive role for the audience. Which is what people have come to expect because of endlessly being invited to post their own comments on whatever they read on the internet.
Hold on. If I like,
Who is this?
me, over here, waving my arm.
Right, you. And who, if I may ask, might you be?
Well, I am you.
You're me.
No, I am you. You said, if you like. That's me. You is me.
Yes. Well, when I say you, it doesn't mean you.
When you say you, it doesn't mean you.
Not you personally. It means, if you like, one.
One. If I like one, look, I am one. Do you see two of me standing here or three of me? No, there's only one of me, whether I like it or not.
Exactly. There's only one of you. You can't be one if there's only one of you, because one doesn't mean one.
One doesn't mean one.
Not just one single person. It means all sorts of people. Him, her, them, me if you like.
What? You?
If you like.
If I like. So, if I like, when you say it's, if you like, bendability or whatever it was, you mean it's bendability if you like. And don't say if you like again, because I don't like.
You don't like? You mean you don't like my having just as much right to be consulted about what I like or don't like as you have?
I don't like your telling me you call something something if I like, and then finding out it means if you like.
Fair enough. So what would you like?
Me? Cup of tea, milk, no sugar, and an Eccles cake. Thank you. How about you?
Early retirement. And a small house in the Lotte Garonne.
So at this point we, if you like, agree to differ?
If you like.
Then press the, if you like, a little button that says like.
When the actors leave the stage and darkness falls on our brightly lit familiar world, another world comes to life. The secret world of the scene shifters. Somewhere in the darkness, a little head pops out of its hole. And another. And another. They sniff the air, checking that it's safe to leave the barracks. Out from the holes all around the stage emerged perhaps the most remarkable of all nocturnal creatures. You may sometimes have called brief glimpses of them as they scurried about their business in the dark. But now for the first time we can see their fascinating habits in detail thanks to the magic of infrared light. Scene shifters are primates, members of the same genus as ourselves. But nature has endowed them with various skills that we don't have. The most obvious one is their uncanny ability to see in the dark, which enables them to move around in complicated patterns without ever bumping into each other. This young male is struggling with a piece of furniture bigger than he is. Will it go into the hole this way? That way? They may look to us as if they're playing some sort of elaborate game, but everything that these little creatures do has a serious purpose. During the few short moments of darkness at their disposal, they must hunt out the food and drink they need to keep themselves alive through the next scene. Most of all, they love the half-eaten remains of mashed banana, the dregs of cold tea, or the blackcurrant cordial at the bottom of a wine glass. Books are another delicacy. A fully grown scene shifter can eat his body weight in assorted paperbacks over the course of a single act. While some are searching for food, others are rooting out nest-building material. Odd sticks of furniture or scraps of scenery abandoned by the departing actors. The scene shifters will hide these away inside their burrows and weave them together to make the nests where they sleep, while the rest of the world is awake. Scene shifters are as clean in their habits as cats. Before the night returns, they will have cleared out all the old nest material and place it neatly across the stage in complex patterns that serve a rather surprising purpose. The most fascinating thing about these denizens of the night is that they share a symbiotic relationship with their natural enemies, the actors. Actors depend upon finding fresh supplies of nest-building material when they return. Without it, they would have nothing to sit on, or to drink at moments of stress, or to throw at each other during their characteristic mating rituals. But how do the scene shifters know where everything goes? What is the concealed code that makes it all possible? The secret lies in little pieces of gaffer tape stuck to the floor, almost invisible to the human eye. Now watch these three as they work together to move a large object like a table. The scene shifters not only have to be able to see the little pieces of tape in the dark, they must also remember out of all the hundreds of pieces which are which. She seems to think it's the mark for the table, but in the scene before last. He evidently thinks it's where the sideboard goes in the next scene. How they communicate all this to each other is not fully understood, but it seems to involve a language of little squeaks, too high for the human ear to hear. Now watch, they're sniffing the air again. They've sensed danger. They know the light will return momentarily, and woe betide any scene shifter caught by the actors on their territory. And so they all scuttle back into their holes. The little one's running back. She's dropped something. She's in danger of being caught and eaten alive. No, here comes the mother scene shifter to trigger her off. So, once again, the nightly miracle of the scene transition is completed, just in time for the next scene.
Congratulations! You have won the... And he's hung up on me.
Again, that's the third charm.
He doesn't even wait until I get to the end of the sentence. All I get to say is, congratulations! You have won the... And when? Already the phone's back on the hook. What's happened to the world? People used to be so excited when you rang to tell them. They thought it was a real honor.
Honor? These people don't know what the word means. Money, money, money. That's all they care about these days.
Yes, then there's the money. You'd think they'd be pleased about the money.
What? The 8 million kroner? They look in the papers, and there are bankers taking on 10 times as much for wrecking the economy. Come on, which one was that? Peace. So he's a Politician then?
Duh.
Yeah, naturally then. Coining it already. Payoffs, backhanders, and then off to work for a bank himself. Forget peace.
But what if he doesn't ever realize he's won?
Then we are a couple million kroner to the good. Come on, try one of the others. Yeah, we got two. Medicine. Try medicine.
Medicine? Big pharma on a royalty from some billion-dollar drug that's killing everyone in Africa?
Maybe, or maybe not. Maybe a humble doctor, a saint running some sort of beastly clinic in the jungle. Doesn't want a single kroner to himself. And now, thanks to us, he can install flushing toilets and flat-screen TVs. He'll be all over you.
Right. You can joke about it. You haven't got to do it.
Come on, I'm dining it for you.
It's not nice, you know, being hung up on all the time. You feel rejected. You feel like everyone hates you.
No, don't take it personally, man.
Well, I can't help taking it personally. It's something about my voice, isn't it? As soon as they hear it, wham!
I'm through. He sounds charming, this one. Modest and hopeful. I don't think he's going to have to hang up on you. Off you go.
Well, they all sound hopeful when they pick up the phone.
Get going, he's waiting.
He's going to be the same as all the others. Congratulations! You have... And the phone's back on the hook. Quickest yet. I don't think I can go on with this job. The stress is really getting to me.
Okay, let's think. Maybe it is something about your voice. And maybe it's a bit too positive, a bit too encouraging. They think you're trying to sell them something.
Well, how else can you say, congratulations?
No. Maybe don't say congratulations then.
Don't say congratulations? Yeah. What are you talking about? It's right in the script they give you.
Forget the script. Get straight to the money. Come on, where have we got to? Literature, perfect. He's what, some sort of poet or something?
Well, some woman in Lithuania.
Oh, wonderful! Look, she really needs the money. Economic collapse. Her husband's left, her kids to support. Right? Come on, I'm dying. Suddenly, there's going to be this voice on the phone. Our records show that you might be entitled to a substantial payment. Something along those lines. Right? All right, I'm through. She sounds desperate. Go on.
Hello there. Our records show that... And wham! I can feel chest pains.
Okay. Let's come at it a bit more obliquely. You gotta hook up their anticipation, right? Where have we got to? Physics. I'm getting it for you. You know, just give your chest a little rub with a banana or something. No? Okay. So, physics. He's a scientist, right? So, you gotta start with something scientific. You gotta catch his interest. The computer. Start with the computer. Something about his name coming up on the computer, right? Come on, go.
The computer?
Yeah, go.
Hi there. Your name has come up on our computer and... I told you.
Never mind. It's his loss, not ours. 3 more to go. What's next? Biology.
I think I'm going to take early retirement.
No. With biology, you're going to try an entirely different approach.
Huh?
Something a bit more streetwise. Do you remember the old advertising maxim? Don't sell the steak, sell the sizzle! Right, so you are not going to tell this biology guy anything about a prize. You're going to tell him about the trip to collect it. Right? Okay. He's in Bangalore. It's hot and dusty, the air conditioning in the lab is broken down. He's dreaming of cold and snow. And wham! A call from Scandinavia. And already his tongue's hanging out, right? So then you tell him about the free champagne, the 5-star hotels, the world-class gourmet cuisine, and the beautiful blonde hostesses, right? Come on, go.
This is the very last one I'm going to try. hi there! You have won an exciting free trip to Stockholm! And already he's... No, he hasn't. He's still there.
What did Slenderman tell you? Come on, free champagne, free champagne.
Enjoy beautiful free champagne, world-class blondes and five-star hostesses.
Hotels!
Now he's hung up. No, he hasn't. I don't believe this. Hello? You're really still... Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for holding. Thank you for listening. You don't know how much this means to me. So, yes, free world-class hostesses.
Hotels!
What? Where do I want to go? Where do I want to go? No, not me. You. Yes, you are coming here. To Stockholm, the fantastic fairy tale city often known as the Athens of the North. Wait. I will read you the official citation. Where's my piece of paper? What a sweetheart. He's hanging on every word. Please, come on. Right. You're really still there? You want some? Okay, wonderful. I will read you the official citation then. The whole script. Is that all right? You've got a moment. You won't suddenly? No? Okay. Here we go then. Congratulations! You have won the Nobel Prize for Biology! Oh. I see. I'm so sorry.
Even this one?
Wrong number. Some taxi service in Malmö.
So, are we going to the Notchets on the 17th, or aren't we? And don't say let's think about it.
No.
Or it depends, because it doesn't depend, we just have to decide.
Yes, only.
Or yes, only, or what do you think? Because I know what I think, I just want to know what you think.
Alright.
Alright, you mean alright, we'll go?
No.
No, of course not. You mean alright, we'll think about it. But it's not alright because you won't think about it. You never do unless I keep on at you.
No.
And here we go again. Yes, only, no, only, if, but, well. All I need you to say is simply yes or no. But of course, there's always some reason why you can't. Because,
Yes,
exactly because.
Because.
And all you can do is interrupt me. I've only got to open my mouth and yet again, before I can say 2 words, you've interrupted me.
I didn't.
Yes,
I wasn't.
you did. And next thing we know,
Listen.
oh, there you go again.
No.
And again. And now, of course, you're not just interrupting me.
No.
You're contradicting everything I say. Well, you see, I can never utter so much as a single word without you immediately saying the opposite. I say yes, you say no. I say
didn't.
you did, you say you didn't.
I
I
wasn't.
say you were, you say you weren't. You were contradicting me.
I was just.
And there you go again. Every word I say, some demon gets into you.
I wasn't.
Just listen to yourself.
I can't.
Can't listen to yourself. No, of course you can't. You can't hear a word you're saying because you're too busy picking on me. If you just listened for once instead of perpetually interrupting and contradicting, you might actually hear what you're saying.
Well.
And at once, of course, you flare up. You won't accept a word of criticism, will you? I said, will you? Ah. Silence now. Didn't you hear what I said? Or am I talking to myself? You're always doing this. Refusing to say anything. Just silently sighing to yourself and thinking I can't hear it. You might as well sigh out loud and make a meal of it, because I know you're still contradicting me.
Yes.
Yes. What's this? All of a sudden you're agreeing with me.
No.
And of course, as soon as I say you're agreeing, you say you're not.
No, I mean, yes, we won't go to the Nodgets.
Geoffrey, I know you're awake. You're not breathing. Don't pretend you're asleep. No one can sleep through that noise. Geoffrey! They've started again. You'll have to do something about it. You'll have to go down to the crypt and talk to them.
They'll stop in a minute.
They're going to go on all night. At least bang on the floor.
You bang on the floor.
You're the one with the sword. Oh, it's driving me mad.
They'll get to some prayers in a minute.
Prayers at a disco.
It's not a disco.
It's the disco.
It's choral evensong.
What are you babbling about?
It's choral evensong. He does a special early one for young people. In the crypt.
On Saturday night.
On Sunday afternoon.
It's Saturday night.
It's Sunday afternoon.
You've lost all sense of time. How can it be Sunday afternoon? It's dark.
It's winter.
It's summer.
It's winter.
Since when is he been doing choral evensong in the crypt?
Since 1997.
I've never heard any choral evensong in the crypt.
You were asleep.
You're telling me I slept through that?
You slept through the Second World War. Anyway, it stopped. I told you.
It'll start again. Stop this. Don't be silly. You're not asleep. I can tell from the way you're lying.
How am I lying?
Like someone who's asleep. No one lies like that when they're asleep.
Like what?
All stiff and unnatural. With your hands pressed together. Not even you.
Take a pill.
I don't know why you're doing all this thing about sleeping if it's the afternoon.
Don't you have a pill?
I haven't got a pill.
Maybe the dog ate it.
Don't start on the dog.
That dog shouldn't be in the tomb.
He keeps me warm.
No wonder we all got... No wonder we can't sleep. Yeah. We all got fleas.
I've got to have something warm next to me.
What's that supposed to mean?
Nothing.
Nothing. Oh,
Why? What do you think it meant?
nothing.
That's all right then.
You're always saying things that mean nothing.
Better than never saying anything at all, which is what you're always doing.
I'm always never saying anything. Always never. Interesting formulation. So that's what I'm doing now, is it? Never saying anything.
Not saying anything, no, not talking.
So, I'm lying here in silence.
By the sound of it.
What then? I was waiting for you to reply.
So now what are you waiting for?
Doomsday.
It's funny. Everyone thinks we're the perfect couple.
Who thinks we're the perfect couple?
Or the people who come to look around the church.
It's because you never open your mouth when anyone's here.
Nor do you.
Obviously not. When anyone's here.
Such as me.
I talk to you a lot more than the dog ever does.
Yes, well, if you're not going to say anything sensible, let's go to sleep.
I thought you couldn't sleep.
Well, I can't. I've been lying awake here since 1934. What?
I didn't say anything.
No, but you were thinking it. You might as well say it. I can't sleep with you lying here thinking.
What am I thinking?
Well, you know what you're thinking, and it's not true. I did not sleep through the Second World War.
Well, maybe it was the First World War.
Also, you keep moving about.
I am lying absolutely still.
Well, you're grinding your teeth.
How can I grind my teeth while I'm talking?
Listen to you. Grind like millstones.
You know what? It's my eyelids. I was closing my eyes.
Any moment, you'll get one of your cramps.
I never get cramp unless I think about it.
Then we'll see you move.
If you're trying to make me think about it, you are wasting your time.
You'll be off this tomb like spit off a hot plate.
I'm not thinking about it.
You'll be bouncing round the nave like a pea in the whistle. Any moment now. Ah! There, I told you. The whole tomb bounced up and down.
You're always doing this to me.
Stomping about, banging on the floor. They'll hear you in the crypt.
I thought you wanted me to bang on the floor.
Not when they're quiet. You'll set them off again. Funny, isn't it? I ask you to bang on the floor. Oh no. But then, as soon as it happens to suit you, oh well, that's different. Bang, bang, bang. Ah! Go to the doctor, get some pills. Other men don't behave like this. Other men can manage to lie absolutely still without all this performance for a couple of centuries. The last time was in the middle of a service. We had people here. You made an absolute spectacle of yourself. Everyone thought you'd gone completely mad. They all got out of the church as fast as their legs could carry them. He had to have the whole place exercised.
Oh, that was ages ago.
It was the Sunday before last.
It was the second Sunday in Lent. I remember the sermon.
Oh, you remember the sermon? I wonder how you could take it in while you were hopping around, clutching at everyone for support.
Lent 1885.
1885?
1885.
You're getting confused. 1885 was when the bat droppings fell on you.
The bat droppings fell on me, and I got cramp.
It must have been a busy year for you.
Was a busy year.
But not as busy as 1923, when your nose went.
When my nose went... Wait, it wasn't 1923, it was 1723.
1723?
We're losing track, old girl. One century is getting remarkably like the next.
Oh, Geoffrey, what's happened to us?
What do you mean, what's happened to us? Nothing's happened to us. That's the trouble.
Never look at me these days.
I don't see you looking at me.
No, because you're not looking to see whether I'm looking or not.
Stiff neck.
You used to look at me.
Let's get some sleep.
We used to go out together.
Out?
Sometimes. Occasionally.
What? Down to St. Ethelbert's to see Ethelbert?
We used to look in on Henry and Catherine in that little side chapel.
Very boring couple, though.
Only after Cromwell.
It's not much fun talking to people with no faces.
Before that, though, we used to dance.
Dance? When was this?
A long time ago. Before we got so stiff. Oh,
Oh, then.
you were a good dancer.
Was I?
When you would go in. That first evening, though.
You wouldn't dance with
Well,
me.
you would ask me. You simply stood there, dumbstruck, like an effigy already. We might as well have been stuck standing there instead of lying down here for the next 600 years or so.
But in the end,
We danced.
and then what happened?
We were standing in church,
Oh yes, over there somewhere.
in front of the altar.
And there was music.
There were bells.
The church was full of people.
There was a ring.
And there was a kiss.
And we walked out of the church among the people.
And then?
Then there was a bed.
We lay down on the bed.
Like this.
And something happened.
Yes. Something happened.
Our joints began to grow stiff.
Yes, but before that, sometimes you used to...
Used to what?
You didn't always have your hands pressed together.
No, well, you sometimes used to move your hands a bit.
You used to put one of your hands on me.
Like this.
Like that.
Nice. Nice?
Nice.
Very nice. Then, what happened?
We had 14 children. Once, on Monday, Thursday.
Oh, Monday, Thursday.
You remember?
I remember that Monday, Thursday.
Monday, Thursday, 1674.
1674. It was a good year. I enjoyed 1674.
I think I've unsqueezed my hand a bit. Geoffrey, you haven't gone back to sleep? Oh, and now those devils in the crypt have started again. Geoffrey, stop them! Bang on the floor!
What?
Wake up!
I'm awake. I'm awake. I was just dreaming I was asleep.
Darling, you know how much I appreciate the way you're always... Well, you're always...
You're helping you, yes, but don't be silly, darling. I'm helping you.
helping me, yes. Particularly when I'm saying something and I
You hesitate.
hesitate for
A moment.
a moment, yes, and at once...
It's usually only for a fraction of a second, darling.
Exactly. And at once you very kindly try to
Finish the sentence for you.
finish the sentence for me. Because you're so much...
I'm not cleverer than you, darling.
Not just cleverer, but because you think so
Well,
much
you think faster. That's true.
faster. And you know how... Well, how...
How to finish sentences.
How...
How to speak
how-
Italian.
How...
How to make Appenstrudel.
How grateful I am.
Oh.
And you're very good at it because you
Always know what you're going to say.
usually know what I'm going to say. And because, well, it simply...
It saves so much time, doesn't it?
So much time. Oh, it would.
If you didn't insist on going on and saying it all over again.
If I didn't... Exactly.
Which is a pity, darling. Because we could spend the time we saved doing something else. And since you've brought the subject up, I can't help noticing that sometimes when you go on and finish a sentence I've already finished for you, do it in a way that sounds just a tiny bit impatient.
No. It's just I feel I would very occasionally like to... Well, like to...
Get to the end of the sentence yourself?
Yes. Just to see what it was... Well, what it was when it was...
Like?
Yes. And then also there are times when you
You get it wrong, of course.
get it wrong and you make me...
Say things that you weren't going to say. I know, and I'm sorry, but then sometimes I'm right that you were going to say them, only you change your mind because I've already said them for you.
Possibly. Though by the time I say what I'm going to say...
The conversation has usually moved on.
moved on. And you don't notice me saying what I'm actually saying, and so you go on thinking I've said...
What I thought you were going to say, I know, but darling, if what I thought you were going to say was what you were going to say, only you didn't say it because I've already said it for you, then what I remember you saying is what you actually would have said if I hadn't said it for you. So it's true to your intentions for me to remember it that way. And believe me, I don't enjoy finishing your sentences for you. I only do it because...
Because otherwise we'd be here till midnight before I get to the end of even this sentence.
Exactly.
And here you might take note, incidentally, that I can finish sentences perfectly quickly
If there's someone else's sentences,
if there's someone else's sentences.
though I notice that you never finish other people's sentences, only mine.
Only yours, very possibly. But if so, that's only because I always know. I always
You
know
always think you know.
what you're going to say next.
Only you don't, as it happens.
Let's put it to the test then.
Well, yeah.
I know exactly. I know precisely
What I'm going to say next.
what I'm going to say next. There you've said it, exactly precisely.
You know, darling, one of these days I'm going to...
Strangle me? Yes. Unless I get in first and...
You strangle me? Is that what you're trying to say? You'd strangle me?
Well, I shouldn't need to, darling, because if I tried to, you'd interrupt me as usual and...
You strangle myself, perhaps?
Strangle yourself, or else get it wrong as you so often do, or strangle some other poor fellow altogether. Either way, it will somehow turn out to be...
Your fault? Well, of course it is!
Of course. And I shall end up getting...
As angry as usual.
15 years. Oh, that's at least the sentence I might be able to finish in peace.
The presentation of the 2017 Holdings International Personality of the Year Awards. A big hello from me. Thank you. Your host for the evening, Gavin Outright. And let's go straight on without further ado. Who is filming in LA and can't be with us tonight? I hope you're watching further. Let's go straight on to the first of the evening's presentations, the J. Walter Unction Award. The J. Walter Unction Award is given annually to the person who during the past year, in the opinion of the judges, has most conspicuously succeeded in being J. Walter Unction. And here to present it, will you please welcome last year's Cheryl Upstroke Award winner, Cheryl Upstroke!
The J. Walter Unction Award for 2017 goes to... Just talk among yourselves while I open the envelope. And the J. Walter Unction Award for 2017 goes to... J. Walter Unction! The citation says, for being J. Walter Unction from January 1st to December 31st. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, never missing a day. Not once. This is what it says here. Not once was J. Walter Unction ever Trefford Lloyd Nitwick or Denzel Dunning. In his unwavering devotion of being J. Walter Unction, J. Walter Unction was a shining example of consistency and perseverance to every one of us.
Thank you, Cheryl. I don't know what to say. I'm gobsmacked, I really am. I mean, I just never dreamt. I've won this prize every year now, since it was first established. And every year it comes as a complete and utter surprise. I'd like to thank the judges for their faith in me once again. And my parents for setting up this award. And last but not least, I'm sorry, I totally choked. I'm completely overwhelmed. It happens every year. And last but not least, myself, for being the wonderful person I am. Hot favourite for the J. Walter Unction Award, romping home once again. This is Gavin Outright at the 2017 Holdings International Personality of the Year Awards. Coming next, right after the break, the Gavin Outright Award for the best Gavin Outright of the year.
In a world where people live and die.
Do you think you can just go in there and handle this by yourself?
If that's what it takes. He was about to meet his greatest foe.
Kill them all! All of them!
And a girl.
Hello.
Hi. And a comic relief sidekick who won't make it to Act 3.
I picked the wrong month to cancel my life insurance.
No, don't say that. You're gonna make it. With a guy from that other movie that was slightly popular, and what's her name, from that show you sometimes watch. In a movie with 2 spectacular CGI battle sequences and an advertising campaign that will leave you no choice but to see this film. See it because it's a movie and all your friends are going. In theaters Friday and on DVD in 3 months.
To the 2017 Holdings International Personality of the Year Awards. I'm Gavin Outright, and I'm the one with butterflies myself this time, because this is where we come to the Gavin Outright of the Year Award. In a year that has seen many aspirants to the title of Gavin Outright, including such outstanding contenders as Samantha Plunge, Trafford Lloyd-Niblick, and Cheryl Upstroke, which of them has our distinguished panel of judges picked to receive the coveted statuette? Here to present it, will you please welcome back J. Walter Unction Award winner, J. Walter Unction! Gavin Outright of the Year Award 2017. My fingers are still trembling from last time. Never mind. Attention bits. Who's it going to be? So, the Gavin Outright of the Year Award 2017 goes to Sandra Smith? The citation says that the judges felt that it was time to welcome new blood into the industry and to take a fresh look at the whole question of human identity. It is especially exciting, they say, to see this traditionally male award going to a woman. The refreshing thing about Sandra Smith is that she completely rejects all our tired and outworn ideas of what Gavin Outright is like and has reinterpreted his personality from the ground up in terms of her own vibrant self. That's what it says. So, Sandra Smith. Who is she? Is she here? Ladies and gentlemen, Sandra Smith!
Thank you. I just want to say that I couldn't have won this award on my own. Because it takes more than one person to win anything. It takes a winner and a loser. And I want to thank Gavin Outright here for being that loser. For the judges to have awarded the Gavin Outright Award to anyone apart from Gavin Outright is a tremendous tribute to such an entity. So, thank you, Gavin, for being your wonderfully tired old self. Thank you for your sustained inauthenticity, for your totally committed lack of any identifiable personality. You've given a new meaning to the word selflessness. So, a sensational upset in the Gavin Outright of the Year Award. This is Sandra Smith at the 2017 International Personality of the Year Awards. More exciting awards right after the break. Gavin will be fetching them, I'll be handing them out. Including the hotly contested categories for regular attendance at award ceremonies, punctuality, and clean fingernails.
Ladies and gentlemen, there'll be an interval of 20 minutes. Drinks and refreshments are available at the bar. Thank you.
Consultant of this theatre. I'd like to wish you all a very warm welcome to the second half of our program here tonight. But first, and there's always a but first on these occasions, isn't there? But first, let us take a few moments to share our thoughts and memories of something that I think was very dear to all of us here. Let us pause to remember the interval. We give thanks for that particular span of time that so recently drew to a close and that remains so very fresh in all our minds. This is not a sad occasion, but a happy one. We've come together here in this beautiful theatre not to mourn, but to celebrate. It's true that the interval is over. Its life is finished. And that fact is something that, of course, we all have to come to terms with. But we've all said our goodbyes already. This is not a funeral, but it is a service of memorial, an act of rejoicing and thanksgiving. I think all of us here love that interval. It brought so much joy into all our lives. We all have many happy memories of it. And yet, it lasted for so short a time. Can it be true that it was with us for only 20 minutes? We look back over those 20 minutes and how crowded they seem. How fortunate we feel ourselves to have been blessed and enriched by it. It was a time for stretching our legs, time for getting a breath of fresh air, recharging our batteries, a time perhaps for talking to our friends, or perhaps a time simply for quiet reflection, for meditation on the show so far, for preparing ourselves for what is yet to come. The end of this interval, of course, marks in some sense, for all of us, the end of an epoch. There'll surely never be an interval quite like it again. What was it like, this interval we knew so well? What did it mean to all of us as individuals? First, a personal recollection by Mrs. Hilda Trumbull.
In some ways, the interval was like many other intervals. I think that this is what was so special about it. I remember when I first made its acquaintance, I was sitting down there in row 4, and I began to realize that something had changed in my life. I was not as untroubled and serene within myself as I once had been. There was a quest I had to make, a journey I had to attempt. Well, I was pretty solidly stuck in my life down there in row 4, and if the interval hadn't come along, I don't believe I could have managed to make the break. And if I hadn't, I hate to think what might have become of me. I wonder how many other people there are here who are just that little bit more comfortable with themselves, thanks to the interval. Of course, we tend to take these things entirely for granted, and sometimes we find we haven't made full use of our opportunities before they are suddenly snatched away. My one regret is that I didn't also seize the chance to have a small glass of white wine.
George Grice from row 5. To me, this interval was quite unique. Things happened during it that had never happened during any of the many other intervals I had known. I will give you just one such example. It was during this interval that my wife remembered that she had forgot to set the oven before we came out this evening, as we had specifically agreed upon, so that the chicken casserole which I had prepared would not in fact be cooked. Had it not been for the interval, she might not have realized until we had got home, and we should have both missed out on a great deal to talk about and to reflect on in the second half.
I just want to say that it was a lovely interval. Oh, I'm Wendy Riley from row 10, and I don't know anything about intervals, but I loved it, and I think everyone loved it. And you could just tell it was trying to make everyone happy. Because as soon as it had started, I found this shoe under my seat, and I couldn't think how it had got there. I mean, I sometimes take my shoes off in strange places, but this was a man's shoe. And then I saw this man 2 rows behind looking very embarrassed. And his name is Cedric, and he's in alternative therapy, and he's a Capricorn. We're gonna have coffee afterwards. And I just want to say, thank you, interval.
Before we return to our busy lives, let us take a moment to offer thanks to the management of this theatre who give intervals and to take them away. And let us keep the memory of this interval bright by being perhaps a little bit more alert and appreciative in the second half. Let us remember, if our hearts be weary, that a time will surely come that the interval and us are reunited. Only this time, it won't abide with us for 20 minutes, but forever. And now, with the strings of some profound but joyous music ringing into our ears, let us go bravely forth into the battle once again.
let me be absolutely clear about one thing. This is, of course, what politicians of all persuasions preface their remarks with these days. And when they're not telling you to be clear about, to let them be clear, of course, about what they're going to say next, they're telling you that they already are clear, whether you like it or not, or claiming that they always have been. But what they mean by being clear is not always entirely clear in itself. And so, let me make it clear what I mean by it. I should perhaps make it clear, before we go any further, that when I say there is one thing I want to be clear about, this is an understatement, of course. There is more than one thing, there are masses of things. The only trouble is that since I'm being so completely clear about them, and since one totally transparent thing looks much like another totally transparent thing, it's difficult to tell them apart. So, one absolutely clear thing at a time. And the one I want to be clear about first is what I don't mean by being clear. I don't mean being clear like the clear glass door that you don't see, and so you walk into it and bang yourself most painfully on the nose. Or clear like a clear road late at night, so you're tempted to put your foot down and drive so fast you don't notice police cars or speed cameras, and you have to persuade your wife to take the penalty points for you, and everything thereafter gets less and less clear. Or clear like the clear you're in after you've shifted the blame for what you did onto somebody else. Or clear like your conscience after you've done this so successfully that you've completely forgotten about it. Or clear like your wardrobe after a good clear out, when you've thrown away everything you can't believe you once thought was fashionable, along with some other things you might still want to wear, probably, that somehow got mixed up with the rest. Or clear like clear decks after all your principles and other deck cargo have been washed away or thrown overboard. Or clear like the clear sky the thunderbolt falls out of. No, what I mean when I say that I'm clear about something is that I'm as clear as an empty glass bottle. Not, of course, an empty brown or green bottle, which might still have last night's leftover dregs in it, or a few dead spiders. An empty vodka bottle, say, so that you can see it actually is empty. If you can't still see anything after drinking a whole bottle of vodka, that is. Or maybe this is another bottle which is still full of vodka. Unless somebody's drunk the vodka and filled it up with water. Or with something you bought to spray on the roses to kill green fly. But most likely, it's full of absolutely nothing at all. Which is why it's so absolutely clear. Because nothing can be clearer than nothing. In fact, I'm even clearer about this than an empty bottle. I'm as clear as the carefully polished glass plate of the auto cue from which I'm reading these words, and which is so clear that from where you're sitting, you can't see it. So you think I'm actually thinking what I'm saying, and which, from where I'm standing, makes it clear to me just how unclear you are. Totally invisible, in fact. Which is why I'm up here and you're down there. Let me be absolutely clear about that, if nothing else.
That train outside the back door's blocked again.
Oh dear.
The train, it's blocked again.
Oh, good.
You'll have to do something about it.
Right.
Did you hear what I said?
Of course.
You didn't, did you?
Didn't I?
Right. A new chapter in the conversation.
Right.
It often puzzles me.
Oh, I imagine so.
You never listen to anything I say, but you often know I'm saying something.
Often, yes.
And you know I've come to the end of saying it.
Well, these things happen.
You know you're then supposed to say something in return.
Something.
Something, exactly. So you must have been aware that words were being said.
Was I?
You just haven't understood them.
Of course not.
So that what we're saying has the grammatical shape of a conversation,
Oh, I think so.
without actually being a conversation.
I suppose not.
But if you haven't understood a word I've said, I don't know how you decide what to reply.
Don't you?
Whether it's don't you, or I suppose so, or right.
Right.
That was a pause while I was thinking about the problem. It seems to me you must at any rate take in my tone of voice. You must hear, for instance, whether it's positive or negative,
I expect so.
which I appreciate.
Not at all.
So, let me try saying something negative in a positive voice and vice versa. Wonderful news, dear! Your old friend Peter Plaster has died.
Oh, good.
But I'm afraid he's left you £500,000 in his will.
Oh, dear.
As a matter of fact, he hasn't died. Peter Plaster, your old friend. In fact, I saw him yesterday. We had lunch together. It was a very strange experience.
Suppose it must have been.
Because he actually seemed to be listening to what I was saying. He even said things himself,
Well, there you are.
such as that he's going away to work in Romania, and he wants me to go with him.
Does he?
Perhaps I should.
Perhaps.
That last exchange, that's a rather good example of what I mean. It made perfect syntactical sense. He wants me to go with him. Does he? Perhaps I should. Perhaps. I find that quite reassuring.
Good. Good.
Things go completely off the rails as if I'm stupid enough to ask you a question that requires some actual substantive response, some original input.
That's right.
Such as, what's the capital of Romania?
That's true.
You see?
Yes, quite. So, did you?
So did I? Good God, a question! You asked me a question! You made some contribution!
whoever it was. Jeez, don't you ever listen to anything you say?
No, I didn't go off with whoever it was. As you might have noticed, because here I am, talking to you, remember?
Well, I suppose so. Bucharest, incidentally.
Bucharest?
Capital of Romania.
Do you enjoy spitting? No? You don't mind if I do, though? Hold on. Can you see a spittoon on the table anywhere? Never mind. Sit down. I can use my empty soup bowl. My God, that's better. I've been sitting here all the way through the first course just dying for one. Because I do believe it's rather bad manners to spit while one's eating. A mouthful of soup and suddenly... You have finished yourself, haven't you? You haven't. I'm so sorry. Oh, you don't want the rest? Very nice of you not to mind. One has to be so careful these days not to offend people's prejudices. I always ask first, of course. People never raise any objection, in my experience. They usually never say anything at all. They generally do what you did. Smile rather charmingly and kind of wave their hand about. Quite surprised to be asked, I think. Most of them. Hold on. Where's the soup bowl gone? No. Come back, don't keep jumping up. I'll use yours. You did say you were finished. I'm glad you're not one of those hysterical people who try to stop other people enjoying themselves. It's so one-sided. I don't try to stop anyone not spitting over me. In fact, this is something I feel rather strongly about. People used to spit all the time in the good old days, and no one so much as raised an eyebrow. Spittoons everywhere you went, sawdust on the floor. Suddenly, everyone went mad. Notices up in the buses, no spitting, penalty £5. And before we knew what had happened, we had lost another of our ancient privileges. Yes, I spit very largely as a matter of principle. And I hawk, as you can hear. In fact, I hawk deeply, also as a matter of principle. Because I do believe that if you're going to spit, you might as well get the full benefit of it and shift the entire contents of your lungs out into the atmosphere. Why keep all that stuff festering inside of you when you could so easily spread it around a bit? Didn't spit in your face then, did I? I know even the most broad-minded non-spitters sometimes feel a little sensitive about getting a face full of the stuff. I try to be careful, turn my head aside and spit in your very lovely hair or down your very charming dress. Look, why don't I... Come back. I'm trying to whisper a few private words in your ear. Why don't I give you a ring sometime? We could go out for a quiet spot of dinner. Or we could try something a little more exciting. I don't know, maybe... You keep shaking your head. Did I get some in your ear? Don't worry, it's not as if you were inhaling it. What's that look supposed to mean? I can't help but feel that smile of yours is beginning to get a little bit fixed. What? Not because you got a tiny bit in your eye? I did ask, if you remember. I did ask if you minded. So, you're one of those anti-spitting fanatics, are you? I'm not allowed to spit, is that what you're telling me? But it's perfectly alright for you to go around leaning away from people and grinning that ghastly, glassy grin at them. God, the intolerance of it. It makes me want to, well, I tell you what it makes me want to do. It makes me want to, oh, I can see the next course coming. I'll put that one back for later.
Passengers on flight DB473 to Bucharest. Will all remaining passengers for this flight go at once to gate 47, where this flight is now closing. Flight GK279 to Ankara is now ready for boarding through gate 51.
Helsinki? Was that Helsinki? Did they say Helsinki?
No, somewhere, not Helsinki.
It wasn't Birmingham? It wasn't your flight?
It was Amsterdam or Malaga. Somewhere. It wasn't Birmingham.
We regret to announce the further delay to delayed flight KL319 to Dubai. Will all passengers for this flight please listen to further announcements?
I can't bear this. I don't know what they're saying. I don't know what I'm doing.
Darling.
You're going to be back in Birmingham and I'm going to be back in Helsinki and we're never going to see each other again.
We'll think of each other. We'll go on thinking of each other.
We'll never be able to talk to each other again. Never, never again.
All the things I want to say to you.
At any moment they're going to be calling our flights.
Last chance to talk. Forever and ever.
Oh, no.
Passengers are reminded that smoking is not permitted in any part of the airport buildings.
All right, we have another moment. Listen, darling, listen. Before they do call them. For me, those last few days were just...
Listen.
Flight TT222 to Timbuktu is now ready for boarding through gate 8.
Sorry, I thought it might be our flights.
No, I was just saying for me, those last few days weren't just, they weren't just...
For security reasons, please ensure that luggage and other personal items are not left unattended at any time. Unattended items may be removed and destroyed.
Oh, darling.
Have you?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
You have felt something like this before?
Yes. No.
You didn't hear what I said?
Yes. No.
I said...
Flight JK453 to Helsinki is now ready for boarding through gate 73.
What?
I've never...
Never?
felt anything.
You didn't?
This is the final call for flight GK279 to Ankara. Will all remaining passengers for this flight please go immediately to gate 51.
Feel anything?
Like what I'm feeling now.
Flight TR399 to Birmingham is now ready for boarding through gate 41.
Oh, darling. You remember when we stood looking out over the lake that night in the moonlight and you said, if only this moment...
As a courtesy to other passengers, please ensure that your voice is kept down at all times when making personal conversation.
And forever.
Forever?
Forever, yes.
You love me.
No.
No?
This moment.
Moment?
That moment.
Moment? What moment? Which moment?
By the lake, in the moonlight, what you said. Go on forever. You said, if only
Passengers are reminded that weeping is not permitted in any
forever
part of the airport buildings, and laughing is permitted only in the designated laughing areas.
What did I say?
Doesn't matter. Oh, darling.
Oh, darling. If only we could spend the rest of our lives together.
But I know you have to go back to your family in Birmingham.
Passengers are reminded that no talking is permitted while this announcement is being made.
You do understand, darling?
Yeah.
That my life's in Helsinki. I have family too.
This is a security announcement. Please ensure that you're aware of this fact.
You do understand
love me.
No, no, no.
You don't love me?
Yes, but what I said was.
This is the final call for passengers on flight JK453 to Helsinki.
My aunt is bedridden. She
Will
depends
all
on
remaining
me.
passengers for this flight go at once to gate 73, where this flight is now closing?
I know.
They still haven't called our flights. Unless they have and we didn't hear it.
Did I tell you? Did I tell you?
This is the final call for passengers on flight TR399 for Birmingham.
Tell me what?
Tell you?
Will all remaining passengers for this flight go at once to gate 41, where this flight is now closing?
You mean by the lake?
By the lake?
In the moonlight?
Yes, or ever?
Ever?
Ever tell you?
Yes, no, tell me what?
How I love it when you make that.
Please be aware that no announcements have been made now for nearly 15 seconds.
Hey!
I'm sorry, I can't bear this. I'm going to say goodbye.
Goodbye?
Please listen carefully for further announcements, as no further announcements will be made.
Goodbye. Just goodbye.
Say it. Going to say it now. Because I just can't bear sharing this conversation with a loudspeaker.
Please be aware that passengers who insist on talking to each other instead of listening to these announcements do so at their own risk.
Wait, listen. Listen. You can't
Because
say
what do you think it's like for me doing this? Do you think I like talking to myself?
Me? Is that me?
You? Yes, you.
No.
No?
Helsinki? You said this at Helsinki?
No. Listen. Don't go. Call your husband. Now. Tell him the thing
Can you hear what I'm saying? What do you think I feel? Being left out in the cold while you two lovebirds conduct your squalid little affair under my nose, huh?
That wasn't Birmingham?
No. Yes. No. Don't leave me.
You mean?
I mean, use your imagination. Don't you think I feel lonely and jealous? Don't you think I'd like to find another loudspeaker to have secret little conversations with?
Yes.
Yes?
Forever.
You don't understand what I'm saying.
I do understand what you're saying, darling, and I love the way you understand everything.
Don't you think the two of us would have been on the first flight, going anywhere out of here together?
I will.
You will?
Of course I will.
Spend the rest of your life with me.
Spend the what? No, think of you.
Hold on. I think we have a crossed line here. Are we or aren't we? No, this is important!
I'm not getting through to you, am I? Alright, if that's how you want it to be.
Now quick, before it starts again. Are we or aren't we?
This is a final call for passenger Porton on flight GBH 1498 to Helsinki.
Never going to see each other again?
Also for passenger Cuthbertson on flight RIP 4713 to Birmingham.
What?
Will passengers Porton and Cuthbertson please go to their gates immediately?
Never going to see each other again?
And when passengers Porton and Cuthbertson do finally stop talking to each other and listen to what I'm saying, they're going to get the shock of their lives. Our passengers Porton and Cuthbertson, because their flights will have gone.
What did they say?
Oh, so now you're listening. Too late, my loves. I'm not going to repeat it. You'll just have to stay behind after everyone else has gone and go through the whole agonizing performance again with the next flight.
Which is totally unspoken. And I came across a spreadsheet for which is most like you. They
And she's
totally
like,
fell in
no,
love.
Marrakesh. Marrakesh? What, that place in the desert? Oh, when she went on and on about it, Marrakesh this, Marrakesh that. You must go to Marrakesh. You love Marrakesh.
Marrakesh.
I think no one in the world has ever heard of Marrakesh.
Marrakesh.
What?
What?
I thought you said something.
No.
Anyway, this place that they found is very close to the border with Herzegovina. So you can fly either to Pitsk or Sydney, which is really interesting with...
I told her I'm not sure I like the sound of Marrakesh.
You might prefer the sound of Marrakesh.
So we won't be going to Marrakesh.
No, you won't be going to Marrakesh if there's not such a place like Marrakesh.
And where are Justin and Lucinda thinking of going this year?
I don't know, but I don't think it's Marrakesh, and it certainly won't be Marrakesh. I think they're thinking of a place somewhere more like,
Lanzarote. What's wrong with Lanzarote? Or Taranaki?
I wouldn't mind going to that other one.
What other one?
That other one that's M something.
Madeira.
Not Madeira. You know, where Arthur and what's her name went.
Mauritius, Martinique.
What, Arthur and Annie? You don't mean, Madagascar.
Madagascar, I mean Madagascar.
You don't, you mean!
It wasn't Madagascar. That's where Laurie and Lou went.
No, it was Arthur and, you know,
Edie?
It was Laurie and Lou.
it was Arthur and...
Edie?
Arthur and Edie? Who are Arthur and Edie? Oh, you don't mean Arthur and Edie, you mean Eddie. Eddie, and what's she called? Eddie and...
Ida?
Eddie and Ida.
Who are Eddie and Ida?
I don't know. Or do you mean Freddie? Freddie and,
Frida?
Freddie and Frida.
Freddie and Frida. Of these people you keep talking about, I've never even heard of.
Freddie and Flora?
Freddie and Phyllis.
Freddie and Phyllis.
Only Freddie and Phyllis didn't go to Madagascar. They went to Honolulu. All right, dear.
Choked on something? Gordon Bennett!
Only they didn't like it.
Didn't like what?
Honolulu. They didn't like all those Geisha girls.
What Geisha girl?
I don't mean Geisha girls.
No, you don't. You mean hula girls.
I mean Hey Titty.
Hi, Titty.
Hey Titty. When they're on noses with you, when that painted her off his ear. Oh, turn around. They're having a bit of an argy bargy.
Archie!
Right, that's enough.
Anyway, you won't get me to Honolulu. I'd sooner go to Marrakesh.
Marrakesh! 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 Marrakesh!
You know who I am.
Yes,
Who am I?
my interrogator.
Your interrogator. Yes. That is a very frank answer. It is a hopeful beginning to a conversation.
Oh, thank you.
Your identification of me suggests a shrewd and well-informed mind.
Kind of you to say so.
You weren't deceived by my jovial manner.
No.
You know that interrogators often have a jovial manner.
Yes.
It makes them
paradoxically even more sinister,
Much more.
which is required by the nature of the work.
I understand that.
Have you seen interrogators going about their business before?
Yes?
In plays?
Yes?
I wrote those plays.
Oh,
I am, in some sense, the author of this one. Perhaps. I embody certain aspects of the author. Possibly. It is not certain. The question is left open.
I understand.
The author is himself a jovial man. It has often been remarked upon.
Yes?
In his case, too, however, the truth may be more complex.
I'm sure it is.
I'm pouring myself a stiff drink.
Yes?
This may suggest to you a brutal and terrifying disregard of the niceties of interrogation.
Not at all.
On the other hand, it may indicate that I suffer some underlying unease about my work, a need to blunt my sensibilities.
Hardly.
In any case, your opinion on the matter is of no interest.
Of course not.
Your part in these proceedings is to be my victim.
I understand that.
It is a modest part, but not without its importance.
Thank you. Thank you.
Though you seem to have remarkably little to say for yourself.
Remarkably little.
Do I detect a note of reproach in your voice?
No.
You should be glad to have any words at all.
I am.
You may have found this dialogue sparse on the page.
Not at all.
But now you see it performed by a well-known actor. You understand the depth of meaning that lie beneath it.
I understand that now.
We are talking about my part.
So I realize.
It is an important part.
Highly important.
It is a part that I may possibly be persuaded to take myself in some future production, if it can be fitted in with my other commitments.
I look forward to seeing that.
The case with your part is somewhat different. It has unfortunately not proved possible to secure a leading actor to play it.
I'm sorry.
A leading actor would feel that you have too little to say for yourself.
I understand that.
He would object that your character does not develop in any very interesting or dramatic way.
He would be right.
You are entirely passive.
I am.
A pathetic creature.
Hopeless.
This is because of the nature of the play in which you're appearing.
Of course.
It is not the sort of play in which the victim bravely defies his tormentor. It is not that sort of play at all. There are different sorts of play. This is a simple play. A painful play. An important but short play. A play without a plot. In this respect, it is like life.
Like my life.
Like your life, yes, that is true. Not like my life. My life has a plot. You sighed.
It wasn't the stage directions.
Were you sighing at the death of human cruelty revealed by the play?
I believe I was.
You were not sighing at the play itself?
No.
I am relieved to hear it. Our conversation might have taken a less friendly turn. But look on the bright side. You might have had no words at all. You might have been a wordless, shadowy presence, indicating your humanity and your suffering with nothing more than a bowed head.
I realized that.
Though a good supporting or character actor could do a great deal with silence and a bowed head.
Well, in that case, on second thoughts, you might wish to consider taking the part yourself.
If I should require artistic advice, I will extract it by torture. Do you know how long this little conversation of ours has been going on?
A long time.
4 3/4 minutes. understand now that torture's wrong?
I understand that now.
You didn't understand that simple moral point before?
Apparently not.
You're a moral cretin.
So I realize.
The torment will continue for another 23 seconds. Then it will stop.
Well, thank you.
You at last show signs of animation. Something has perhaps been achieved by this little conversation of ours.
I believe it has.
You may silently count the seconds remaining if you wish. There are 7 of them.
So, provided the scheme to build low-cost weekend housing on the estate is accepted by the local planning authorities, it looks as if the cherry orchard itself has been saved from the axe. More on that later. Now back to our main story, and we are joined by our special correspondent, Richard Roving, live outside the National Theatre. Richard, what can you tell us about the present situation?
Well, it's a fine night out here, Fran, with a bit of a breeze off the river, but inside it's pretty tense. The good news is that they're still in there and they're still talking, but some of the talking, by all accounts, has been pretty tough. Hamlet himself, I gather, has not pulled his punches. It's been a long evening, this is the feeling here, and it's going to go on for quite a bit longer yet.
Any developments on the situation since we last talked to you?
Yes, Fran, in the last act there has been some sort of showdown, I don't think that's too strong a word, between Hamlet and the Queen. We don't know exactly what was said, nobody out here is prepared to talk about it, but I gather they had a full and frank discussion of their differences. What we're hoping is that it might have cleared the air a little.
Richard, we've been getting reports of a stabbing involving one of the Queen's advisors. Can you help us on this at all? I gather the victim's name is Mr. Harris, or Eris.
I understand there has been some kind of incident, yes, but my information is that it wasn't serious. We're always hearing lurid stories, of course. If it's not people being stabbed, they're being poisoned or drowned in butts of wine. There was a rumor running around earlier that someone had seen a ghost. I think one has to keep a sense of proportion.
Any signs of an improvement in relations between Hamlet and the King?
Fran, it's too early to tell. But I was talking to someone who was inside the theatre in the last half hour or so, and he said there were plans at court for a bit of a family get-together, which must, I think, be a good sign. I understand it involves some sort of home theatricals.
So, no fears of that the King might be tempted to take a tougher line?
Oh, I don't think so, Fran.
There were some pretty wild and unsavory allegations flying around earlier.
Yes, but there is a great determination here not to let the peace process be derailed, and most of the people I've spoken to remain pretty hopeful about the outcome.
So there is no sense of a deja vu about all of this?
Well, yes, Fran, some old hands have been saying we've seen this whole story played out many times before, and if we don't learn from past mistakes, we could just end up with a real disaster here.
So the next few hours could be crucial.
They could, George, but the King has already brought 2 younger men onto his team who are known to be close to Hamlet in a very clear gesture of conciliation. It may or may not be significant that the Prince is to make an official visit to England, which might help take the steam out of the situation a little.
And is the prince showing any signs of strain?
He has been showing some signs of the enormous pressure he is under. Yes, he's made a number of major speeches in the last hour or two, but quite what effect they've had on opinion here, it's too early to tell.
Oh, so there the prince we can see right behind you now.
No, that's just one of the local dossers being thrown out the theatre by security men. If you'd been here earlier, you'd have seen quite a lot of coming and going just behind me there. Quite a lot of stiff drinks, being drunk, quite a lot of visits to the toilets. But in the last few minutes, things have quietened down.
So you feel the signs are good?
I'm pretty hopeful, Fran, provided they can just keep talking. They've been talking now for the best part of 2 hours, and the longer they go on, the more likely it is we're going to see them shake hands and issue a joint communique.
But if the talks do break down,
then it's anybody's guess. The consequences are incalculable. We could, I think, see a distinct worsening of relations. We might even end up with the king and the prince not on speaking terms.
So it could even end up in violence.
Well, we hope it won't come to that. It is in everybody's interest to stay calm and behave sensibly. They'll probably keep us all on tenterhooks until the last possible moment, but the smart money here is on wedding bells before too long.
Richard Robin, thank you. Now, the rest of our news. Fire broke out in Valhalla this evening, home of many of the world's best-known gods. Local fire chiefs say that the blaze is now under control. And in Spain, a wealthy playboy has had the novel idea of inviting his statue to dinner. The statue duly turned up and, by all accounts, thoroughly enjoyed its evening out. That were the drama news for today. Have a good weekend.
What the hell is going on? Well, for pity's sake, do you not think you're up to? Yes, you! I'm talking to you! And you! All of you! You call this a street scene? It's rubbish! I spent the entire working day in a sweltering rehearsal room trying to direct a street scene for our big production number so that it looks like a street scene in the real world. And then I get out here on the street, in the real world, and what do I find? Do I find a street scene? No, I don't! I find a dog's breakfast. A big, boring, disorganized mess that doesn't resemble a street scene at all. It's a public disgrace. I can't leave it like that. Which is why, as a concerned citizen, I am offering my professional services pro bono. Which is why I'm standing here on this stage shouting at you. Second thought. You up there, electrician! I need some, illuminate the place, I need some lights, lights, better! Where do we stop? You there, at the bus stop! Man with boring blonde hair, old man on crutches, woman with hyperactive child, all the rest of you, you're not doing anything. You're just standing there in a straight line, waiting for the bus. Well, show us you're waiting for the bus husband. Man with boring brown hair, look at your watch. Turn to a woman with hyperactive child and make a humorous gesture of impatience. Hyperactive child, tuck at woman's coat. Woman, bend down and give hyperactive child a clip round the ear. Vicar, bend down to comfort hyperactive child. Hyperactive child, give vicar a clip round the ear. No vicar! Gina! Where the hell is my assistant Gina? Gina! No vicar! Get wardrobe. Tell them to give a man in t-shirt with obscene logo a clerical collar. And Gina, hold the traffic noise, will you? I can't hear the music. Of course there's music. There's always music. You two at the letterbox. You're masking people. Tall men, be shorter. Obese woman, lose 3 stone. Gina! 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 Call casting. We need a lot more people who we can look at and see what they really are. Postman. Yes. A chimney sweep. A nursemaid. Some streetwalkers. Clowns. And circus performers on stilts. Next thing. Lovable little dog comes running across the street and ah! That's lovable little dog? It's a pit bull. Spray it with something. Well, I don't know, something you spray pit bulls with to turn them into lovable little dogs. It raises its lovable little leg against the lamppost like this. Then move the lamppost then so we can see it. Cheeky little boy. Cheeky little boy. With him? He's a child drug runner. Spray him. Spray him. All right. He steals an apple from fat market woman's stall while her back's turned. Oh yes, that is the stall, but those things are not apples. Those are cut-price pornographic DVDs. Spray them. Spray them. Young man in boater. Young man in boat. Gina! Gina! Give the hooligan with the baseball cap a boater. Right. Who's that pretty girl walking past? Pretty girl! Where's pretty... You're a pretty girl? Jesus. Let's do press on. Do the best we can. Who's the pretty girl? Pretty girl pretends not to notice. Then consternation! She's lost the bag of rosy red apples she just bought off the pornographic DVD store. Where can it be? Good heavens! Young man in boater has found it. He's running after her. Then, eye contact. Bashful smiles, romance, love. He does a little dance step. She copies it. We'll choreograph that later. The whole bus queue takes it up. The whole street. I'll make you characterless zombies into characterful characters, and if it's the last thing I do, I'll breathe charm and lovability into every last sociopath on the street. I'll make you tone deaf apraxics, sing and dance, and Gina! Get those TV aerials down! And bring me some vintage cars and handsome cabs. Street scenes happen somewhere between 1750 and 1945. All right, from the top, everyone!
noble guests who banquet with the royal self tonight, although we be sworn foes since time began, I have contended much on bloodied fields for cursed crowns, and never tarried yet to stoop to treachery of every kind. The posset, slyly drugged, the poisoned rapier, the lover's heart that hides the gruesome blade. Now, say thee this to all assembled here. Enough of battle! Down the dogs of war! Tonight, for one short hour, we shall be friends. And let us drink until our heads go round, and not a man be fit to draw his sword. Which being so, I shall disclose at last the small surprise I have in store for you, that waits beneath the silver covers here. So welcome, royal brother from Navarre.
Much thanks, most royal Greenland, I return.
Hail, Prince of Muscovy and Tartary. Hail Five and Sweet Dunoon, Clackmannan, hail!
The Prince of Muscovy hails back.
From Tartary come hails more numerous yet.
From Five.
And from Dunoon.
Like mine and two.
And especially warm welcome I extend to good my lord, the Baron Tethering, the chairman of Consolidated Ales, whose generous sponsorship of performing arts made possible the production here tonight.
I thank your majesty, great Greenland's king, and welcome in my turn the many guests invited by Consolidated Ales to join us at our banquet here tonight. We trust they will enjoy the food and wine, but more, we hope they will appreciate the chance to make a little history, for this is more than just another feast. It is a venture, surely quite unique, to bring the worlds of art and business closer. You may have wondered why so many of these most far-off, ancient, gloomy times have donned black tie and faint, embarrassed smiles. Be not perplexed, all shall be revealed. For many years, Consolidated Ales have done their humble best to lend support, to foster excellence in the performing arts, have offered generous grants and sponsorships, have watered half the world with chilled champagne, hired rooms for lavish corporate entertainment, made free with mention of our well-known name. Yet still, we seek new ways to help the arts, new ways to entertain our jaded guests. Producers tell us that they find it hard to pay a cast of half a dozen. How can they stage a mighty banquet scene with half a dozen players? Unless we hurl our guests into the thick of things, the very furnace where the gold is cast, and entertain them on the stage itself. Two birds fall conjoined victim to one stone. The stage fills up, the guests are tickled pink, and once again I claim a corporate first by greeting your good selves in noble words.
And on we hasten to dispatch the pressing business of this pregnancy. Gardevoir!
What's this? Just naked treachery!
Oh, gods! Help! Monteith! I am undone!
May Scotland Dawson stand beside Navarre!
And where Clackmannan leads, shall Five fall short. I throw though Dunoon.
Dunoon is up.
Shall peaceful Muscovy sit idly by, when noble Castle Greenland stands set out, and mother faints from unknown Scottish bars, or any need for salt and salty foot, upon the pillars of the steep fort?
No, never, nor shall touch me neither!
So ho!
Ha!
Ho! But first, if I may break in here, this might perhaps be an appropriate moment, before the clash of swords becomes too loud. And as I understand, much blood will flow before we reach the coffee and cigars. With many eyes put out and ears cut off, and served with boiled heads in brandy sauce. Perhaps before all this, I might just say a word of thanks on all the guests' behalf to my old friend and yours, Lord Tetherby, for everything Consolidated Ales has done to make this frankly gruesome play an agreeable occasion for us all.
Now back to all the evil plots of 95, the wicked stratagem of Heartless Black Danoon!
So
die thou Danoon!
Soft, observe the Queen.
What ain't the Queen?
The Queen!
The Queen!
My lord, much thanks, 'tis truly not. A little poison of the wine no more. Slight confusion overcame my mind. I had forgotten which was the fatal draught. The claret or the New Zealand Sauvignon?
Attend the Queen! Explain which one's which! Yet stay, what see I now? Oros here? Who can he be, this ghastly bloody man that rises most untimely from his seat, and bends his lips in counterfeited mirth and threats to give draft utterance to a thought?
'Tis nearly I again, Sir Spoken Speech. One most important thing I did forget, and should amend before we are involved in what's to happen next, which I believe involves the entrance of some sort of ghost.
Aye! There he stands! The ghost of John O'Gaunt!
Most foully murdered by this upstart king!
What?
Yes, but first things first, I have to thank our gracious hostess, Lady Tethering. 'Twas Lady Tethering who chose the caterers, and she who did the charming flower arrangements. My Lady Tethering, can words express our gratitude for all your time and skill?
No, they could not.
No,
they could.
Were you to speak 1,000 words or more?
So, there it stands, the ghost of John O'Gaunt!
Well, I do apologize, please, carry on.
Well, there it stands, the ghost of John O'Gaunt!
It was best I felt to interrupt you then, before we all got slightly too involved, you know?
Yes, but there it stands, the ghost of John O'Gaunt! The bottle, certainly! And now, back to the ghost, the fearful spectre that the
Just remind me of a time when someone in Consolidated Ales, who shall be nameless, though some of you will guess exactly who I mean. Am I wrong? And was it someone else? Well, never mind. Now this will make you laugh. On second thoughts, enough said. I'll spare the wretched victim's blushes. Suffice to say, he is not unacquainted with a certain lady here.
Meanwhile, the fearful ghost before me waits!
Have you been away somewhere this year? Or maybe have I asked you that before?
We went to Thailand.
Thailand? Yes, you said.
We found that marvelous place that no one knows.
The marvelous little place. Yes, you said.
How thrilling! Now to change the subject slightly!
Great Scott, what's this delightful looking dish?
I'm told it's someone's grandmother, chopped fine and served with lightly marinated toads and boiled eye of newt in garlic sauce.
Oh, such a treat. So how do these days to find a free-range grandmother with any taste?
Yes, they always do you awfully well, Consolidated Ales.
Oh, awfully well. I'm just so tired of all those endless nights with Jury Salmon Mousse and Traviat that international beers keep serving.
No! I'll run aside and burn upon my sword!
And that reminds me, to assist the staff and make it easier to serve the meal, we would ask all those due to end up dead to go ahead as quickly and as quietly as they may to meet their tragic end without delay. I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
my most humble thanks. So, take up the bodies, and our duty done, roll back the carpet, and let's have some fun.
Oh, honey, picture me upon your knee, with tea for two,
and two for tea,
just me and you
and me alone,
and no invitations for tiresome relations.
not even your brother.
Perhaps my own mother, she's deaf and blind. You mustn't mind her, dear.
Write tea for three, and three for tea, and that's the lot. Just three or two, and simply not another soul.
Yes, but we must have for Stephen.
For Stephen?
He's grieving, his grounds for believing, 'cause he's going to leave them. A cup of tea will make him see we care.
That's tea for four, although we swore no more than three would pass our door.
But just for me, one teacup more I'll pour. That if we have Stephen, we must make it even, as if after Steve speak, that if has deceived him, it's only four, and then for more, that's all.
That's 8 for cake, and cake for 8, and pots more pots of jam and tons, more toast and lots more currant buns.
I'll toast, but now we've agreed on for Stephen and Ethan, we must have the two friends that found us value friends. A cup of tea will make them see we can as well.
So twice times 5 will soon arrive. That's tea for 10, and 10 for tea. Just picture them up on my knee. My God.
Oh, and then there are the skippers, they fed us to dinners, the peskets, the poskets, the thirties and the waskets. We really must, it's only just this once.
So now it's more like 24?
No, 32.
Or 41?
It's hard to sum as big as some as these.
You start with a twosome,
We soon get a few some,
more and still some more, so
the numbers grow awesome.
So shut the door and let's be sure no more.
Oh, the bell again in our 10 have come to call.
Oh please, feel free, there's tea for all.
And all for tea.
Shut up!
Oh, I'm in a teapot, a silver 33 pot.
And I'll have a tea bag, a tea just for me bag.
Have tea alone, or on your own, dear?
Yes, baby, should me know you, know we, up on my knee.